Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Your future is hiding in your habits. And one of the most powerful habits you can change, starting today, is your relationship with sugar. We live in a world where sugar is everywhere, in our drinks, our snacks, our sauces, even in foods you'd never expect. And while it tastes good for a moment, it can steal years from your life if you're not careful. But here's the good news. You don't need a miracle. You need a decision. Because when you stop sugar or even drastically cut it down, you don't just lose weight. You lose disease. You lose inflammation. You lose fatigue. You lose risk stacking up against your health. Studies around the world show that reducing added sugar can help prevent up to 80% of lifestyle-related diseases. Things like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, fatty liver, and even some cancers. That means you can save your life with discipline. You can save your energy with awareness. You can save your future with one simple change. Your body is the only place you've got to live. Don't treat it like a rental. Treat it like a mansion you plan to stay in. So today, take back control. Choose water over soda. Choose whole foods over processed snacks. Choose life over lifestyle. Stop sugar. Stop disease. Start living. Sugar drives inflammation in a way most people never realize, and it does it quietly, steadily, almost invisibly. When you eat foods high in added sugar, things like sweetened drinks, pastries, candy, processed snacks, and even so-called healthy cereals, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your body reacts as if an alarm has gone off. It releases insulin to push that sugar into your cells because high blood sugar floating in your bloodstream is dangerous. But when this happens over and over again, day after day, the system becomes overloaded. Your cells stop responding properly to insulin, your blood sugar stays high for longer, and your body slides into a chronic inflammatory state. Inflammation isn't always bad. When you cut your finger or catch a cold, inflammation is your body's emergency crew showing up to fix things. But when inflammation becomes constant, when your immune system stays switched on because you keep feeding your body sugar spikes, it becomes harmful. Instead of repairing your body, that inflammation starts damaging it. Blood vessels get irritated, nerves become stressed, organs work harder than they should, and fat cells around your belly begin to release inflammatory chemicals. These chemicals spread through your system like sparks in dry grass. High sugar intake forces your liver to convert excess fructose into fat. Over time, this fat builds up inside the liver itself, creating fatty liver disease, which is one of the fastest growing health issues today. This buildup triggers more inflammation, making it harder for your liver to do its job. Detoxifying your blood, regulating hormones, and managing energy levels. It becomes a cycle: more sugar, more liver fat, more inflammation, more disease. Inflammation also affects your blood vessels. When sugar levels stay high, the lining of your arteries becomes irritated and inflamed. The body tries to protect those irritated areas by sending cholesterol to patch them. Those patches can turn into plaque, narrowing the arteries and setting the stage for heart attacks and strokes. Many people blame cholesterol alone, but the real spark behind much of this damage is chronic inflammation fed by too much sugar. It doesn't stop there. Sugar affects your joints as well. Studies show that high sugar levels can increase the release of inflammatory molecules called cytokines. These molecules can attack joint tissue, worsen arthritis, and create stiffness and pain. Many people think joint pain is just aging, but for some, it's the result of years of eating foods that keep inflammation burning inside the body. Your immune system also weakens under constant sugar intake. When your body is fighting inflammation day after day, it becomes less effective at fighting real threats. White blood cells become slower and less efficient. This is why people who consume high amounts of sugar often feel tired, get sick more easily, or take longer to recover from illnesses. Your immune system simply can't operate at full strength when it's constantly battling the internal stress sugar creates. Even your brain isn't safe from sugar-driven inflammation. High sugar diets have been linked to memory problems, mood swings, and increased risk of cognitive decline. Inflammation in the brain can disrupt the way neurons communicate, affecting focus, learning, and emotional stability. Many people don't connect their irritability or mental fog to what they're eating, but sugar plays a bigger role than most realize. All of this shows that the connection between sugar and inflammation isn't small, and it isn't slow. It affects nearly every system in the body. Reducing sugar is not about punishment or restriction. It's about letting your body finally calm down, repair itself, and function the way it's meant to. Cutting back on sugar lowers insulin spikes, reduces inflammation, protects your organs, clears your mind, and restores your energy one day at a time. Reducing added sugar can prevent up to 80% of lifestyle-related illnesses because so many of today's chronic diseases share the same root: metabolic overload. When the body is constantly fed more sugar than it can handle, systems that were designed to operate smoothly begin to strain under the pressure. What starts as a small imbalance turns into a chain reaction that affects every major organ. Most people don't notice the damage right away because sugar harms you slowly, quietly, and consistently. But the science is clear: when people reduce added sugar, disease rates drop dramatically. Not by a little, but by a lot. Many of the most common illnesses today, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, fatty liver disease, obesity, hypertension, kidney problems, and many digestive disorders, are directly influenced by the amount of sugar we consume. Sugar changes the way your body processes energy, how your cells communicate, how your hormones behave, and how your organs function. When people say reducing sugar can save lives, it is not an exaggeration. It is a reflection of decades of medical research. Take type 2 diabetes, for example. Excessive sugar intake pushes your pancreas to release insulin constantly. Over time, your cells become less responsive to insulin, forcing the pancreas to work even harder. Eventually, it becomes overwhelmed, and blood sugar levels stay dangerously high. But when individuals reduce their sugar intake, especially from sugary drinks and processed snacks, insulin spikes decrease, cells regain sensitivity, and blood sugar becomes easier to control. In many cases, early-stage diabetes can even be reversed by simply cutting down on added sugars and refined carbohydrates. Heart disease is another major condition tied to sugar. While many people believe fat is the primary enemy of heart health, modern research shows sugar may be even more dangerous. High-sugar diets increase triglycerides, raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and create inflammation inside blood vessels. This inflammation makes arteries stiff, narrow, and prone to plaque buildup. But when sugar consumption goes down, inflammation drops, cholesterol levels improve, and arteries regain flexibility. People see improvements in blood pressure, circulation, and heart function within weeks of reducing their sugar intake. Fatty liver disease is one of the most direct consequences of excessive sugar, especially fructose found in sweetened beverages. The liver is the only organ that can metabolize large amounts of fructose, and when overwhelmed, it turns the excess into fat. This buildup can progress to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which affects millions worldwide. The encouraging part is that reducing added sugar, particularly liquid sugar, allows the liver to begin clearing this fat. In many cases, measurable improvements occur in as little as a few months. Obesity is also heavily linked to sugar. Sugar-rich foods don't signal fullness properly, which leads to overeating. They spike insulin, a hormone that encourages fat storage, especially around the belly. Once people cut back on added sugar, insulin levels stabilize, cravings decrease, and the body becomes better at burning stored fat for energy. This shift helps prevent obesity-related conditions like sleep apnea, joint problems, high blood pressure, and heart strain. Even diseases not commonly associated with sugar have strong connections. High sugar intake weakens the immune system, making infections more frequent. It disrupts gut bacteria, contributing to digestive problems and inflammation. It interferes with hormone balance, affecting energy, mood, and even reproductive health. When people reduce sugar, the immune system strengthens, gut health improves, and hormones begin to stabilize. Reducing added sugar isn't about eliminating sweetness from life. It's about eliminating the overexposure that modern food culture has created. Most packaged foods contain sugar in amounts the human body was never designed to handle. When people take back control and lower their sugar intake, the body responds almost immediately with improvements in energy, digestion, mood, and sleep. Over months and years, this change translates into dramatically lower risk of the illnesses that affect millions today. Cutting sugar isn't a small lifestyle tweak. It's one of the most powerful forms of preventive medicine available to everyone. Small daily choices have more power than people realize, especially when it comes to reducing sugar and improving long-term health. Many imagine that health transformation requires dramatic diets, extreme restrictions, or expensive programs, but the truth is much simpler. The human body responds strongly to consistency, not perfection. When you make small, steady choices each day, choices that slightly reduce the sugar coming in, you create a domino effect that leads to long-lasting change. These choices may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time they shape your metabolism, your cravings, your energy levels, and even your mindset. One of the most powerful small choices is replacing sugary drinks with healthier alternatives. A single can of soda can contain more sugar than your body can safely process in an entire day. Many people drink 2 or 3 a day without realizing it. Simply switching one of those sodas to water, sparkling water, or unsweetened tea can drastically lower sugar spikes. That one habit repeated daily leads to reduced inflammation, fewer cravings, and more stable energy. Even if someone isn't ready to give up all sugary drinks, cutting back by just one serving a day can create measurable improvements. It gives the body a break and begins retraining taste buds to appreciate less sweetness. Another small daily choice involves reading labels. Most added sugar hides in foods people don't expect. Granola bars, sauces, salad dressings, flavored yogurts, breads, cereals, and snacks marketed as healthy. When you start checking labels, even for just a few seconds, you become aware of how much sugar you're actually consuming. Awareness alone shifts behavior. You might choose a version with less sugar or decide you don't need that item after seeing what's in it. Over time, your shopping habits quietly transform and your diet naturally becomes cleaner without any drastic rules. Cooking at home even one more time per week is another powerful small change. Restaurant meals and packaged foods often contain added sugar to boost flavor and shelf life. When you cook at home, you control what goes into your food. Even simple meals like eggs, vegetables, or grilled chicken tend to be lower in sugar and higher in nutrients. You don't need to become a chef. You just need to build one more home-cooked meal into your routine. That one meal becomes 2, then 3. Before you know it, your sugar intake drops without effort because your food becomes more natural and less processed. Small choices also influence cravings. Sugar addiction is real and it builds through repetition. Each time you reach for something sweet, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing the habit. But when you make a small choice to delay or replace that sugary snack, even once you weaken the habit, doing this consistently retrains your brain. Cravings become less intense and less frequent. You begin to crave healthier foods because your body starts to operate on stable energy rather than sugar highs and crashes. Portion control is another small but impactful daily choice. You don't have to eliminate dessert forever. But if you shrink the portion size, half a slice of cake instead of a whole slice, or a few bites of chocolate instead of a full bar, you reduce your sugar intake significantly. Over time, as your palate adjusts, those smaller portions start to feel normal. You enjoy the treat without letting it control your blood sugar or your long-term health. Sleep and stress management also play surprising roles in sugar consumption. When you're tired or stressed, your body becomes hungrier for quick energy, which often means sugar. Small choices like going to bed 20 minutes earlier or taking a short walk when stress can prevent emotional or fatigue-driven sugar cravings. These habits may seem unrelated to diet, but they reduce the triggers that lead to sugar overconsumption. All these small choices add up. They teach discipline without punishment, and they build confidence. Each success, no matter how small, creates momentum. Over weeks and months, these small changes reshape your relationship with food, improve your metabolic health, and lower the risk of the lifestyle-related diseases tied to excessive sugar. The power is in the repetition, not the size of the action. The body rewards small, consistent choices far more than one giant, unsustainable effort. Whole foods naturally regulate blood sugar and protect your organs in ways processed foods simply cannot. When you eat foods in their natural state, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, lean proteins, and healthy fats, your body processes them gradually, providing steady energy rather than sudden spikes. Unlike refined sugars and highly processed carbohydrates, whole foods contain fiber, water, and complex nutrients that slow digestion and absorption. This means glucose enters the bloodstream at a manageable pace, giving your pancreas less stress and preventing insulin spikes that drive inflammation and fat storage. Over time, eating whole foods allows your blood sugar to stabilize, which reduces the risk of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and many other metabolic disorders. Fiber is one of the most important components in whole foods for regulating blood sugar. Soluble fiber, found in oats, beans, lentils, fruits, and vegetables, forms a gel-like substance in the digestive tract. This gel slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, preventing sharp spikes in glucose levels. Insoluble fiber, found in whole grains, nuts, seeds, and the skins of fruits and vegetables, adds bulk to the stool and supports gut health, which indirectly impacts metabolic health. When the gut microbiome is balanced, it communicates better with your body's hormonal systems, improving insulin sensitivity, reducing inflammation, and enhancing energy metabolism. Whole foods are also packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that protect organs from damage. For example, leafy greens provide magnesium, which is critical for over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those involved in regulating blood sugar. Berries and colorful vegetables supply antioxidants like vitamin C, quercetin, and anthocyanins, which combat oxidative stress in the pancreas, liver, and heart. Minerals such as potassium, calcium, and zinc, present in unprocessed foods, support kidney function, cardiovascular health, and immune defense. These micronutrients are often stripped away in processed foods, leaving the body to rely on supplementation or inadequate sources, which rarely matches the benefits of naturally occurring compounds. Proteins and healthy fats in whole foods also help maintain steady blood sugar. Lean meats, fish, eggs, and plant-based proteins like lentils, beans, and tofu provide amino acids that the body uses for muscle repair, hormone production, and enzyme function. Healthy fats from nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil slow digestion further, helping glucose enter the bloodstream gradually and keeping you satiated. Together, protein and fat reduce cravings for sugary snacks and energy crashes, creating a more stable metabolic environment. Whole foods also reduce the toxic load on organs, particularly the liver and kidneys. Processed foods often contain hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives that force these organs to work harder to detoxify the body. Over time, this can lead to fatty liver inflammation and compromised kidney function. In contrast, whole foods are clean sources of fuel. The liver can metabolize nutrients efficiently, the kidneys can filter waste effectively, and the cardiovascular system remains less burdened by chronic inflammation and high blood pressure. In addition, whole foods have an indirect effect on mental and emotional health. Steady blood sugar supports neurotransmitter balance in the brain, improving mood, focus, and cognitive function. People who consume more whole foods report better sleep patterns, fewer mood swings, and less anxiety, factors that themselves reduce the likelihood of emotional eating and sugar cravings. By choosing whole foods consistently, you create a positive feedback loop where your body and brain operate at higher efficiency and lower stress. Replacing processed foods with whole foods is not about perfection. It's about creating a foundation of health that allows the body to self-regulate. Even modest changes, adding a vegetable to every meal, swapping refined grains for whole grains, choosing fruit instead of candy, have measurable effects on blood sugar, insulin response, and organ protection. Over weeks and months, these choices accumulate, improving organ function, enhancing energy, and dramatically reducing the risk of lifestyle-related diseases. The body is remarkably resilient, and when given the right fuel, it can repair, stabilize, and protect itself naturally. Energy levels increase dramatically when sugar intake goes down because sugar creates a cycle of spikes and crashes that leave the body exhausted. When you consume foods high in added sugar or refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises rapidly, giving you a brief surge of energy. This feels good for a short time. You feel alert, focused, or even euphoric, but it's always followed by a crash. The body responds by releasing insulin to move sugar from the bloodstream into cells, often overshooting in the process and driving blood sugar too low. That low blood sugar triggers fatigue, irritability, brain fog, and cravings for more sugar, creating a vicious cycle that can sap energy throughout the day. When people reduce sugar intake, this roller coaster ride stops. Energy becomes more stable because the body no longer experiences repeated spikes and crashes. Instead, blood sugar levels remain within a healthy range, and the pancreas doesn't have to overwork itself to keep glucose under control. This steadiness allows the body to use energy more efficiently, providing sustained alertness, focus, and endurance. Tasks that previously felt exhausting become easier, mental clarity improves, and overall motivation increases. People often report feeling as if a weight has been lifted once their sugar intake drops and their energy stabilizes. Reducing sugar also enhances cellular energy production. Inside each of our cells are mitochondria, often called the powerhouses of the cell, because they convert nutrients into usable energy. High sugar diets can damage mitochondria through oxidative stress and inflammation, making them less efficient at producing energy. When sugar is reduced or replaced with nutrient-dense foods, proteins, healthy fats, vegetables, and whole grains, mitochondria function more effectively. Cells can generate energy more efficiently, which translates into more physical stamina, better endurance for exercise, and improved recovery after physical activity. The brain is especially sensitive to energy fluctuations caused by sugar. Excess sugar can interfere with neurotransmitter balance, causing mood swings, difficulty concentrating, and mental fatigue. By reducing sugar, neurotransmitter function stabilizes. Dopamine, which drives reward and motivation, and serotonin, which regulates mood, work more efficiently, contributing to clearer thinking, better decision-making, and more consistent energy throughout the day. People often notice they can focus on work or studies for longer periods without feeling the need for a sugar pick. me up. Sleep quality also improves when sugar consumption decreases, further boosting energy levels. High sugar diets are linked to disrupted circadian rhythms and poor sleep because spikes in blood sugar can interfere with hormone production, including insulin and cortisol, which are involved in energy regulation. When sugar is reduced, blood sugar stabilizes overnight, stress hormone levels normalize, and sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. With better sleep, daytime energy naturally increases, and people feel less fatigued or dependent on caffeine and sugar for stimulation. Reducing sugar also decreases fatigue caused by inflammation. Chronic inflammation, often triggered by excessive sugar, interferes with oxygen delivery, blood flow, and nutrient transport, leaving muscles and organs functioning less efficiently. By cutting sugar, inflammation decreases, circulation improves, and the body can deliver oxygen and nutrients more effectively. The result is more natural energy for physical activity, daily tasks, and mental performance. Even small changes can produce noticeable improvements. Swapping a sugary breakfast cereal for oatmeal with nuts and berries, drinking water instead of soda, or choosing fruit instead of candy after meals all stabilize blood sugar. Over time, these small choices accumulate, creating a foundation for consistent high energy. People often report waking up feeling refreshed, experiencing fewer mid-afternoon crashes, and maintaining focus throughout the day. Reducing sugar isn't just about physical health. It transforms how you feel every moment, providing the energy to live life fully and pursue goals with clarity and vitality.